Hey, everybody, this is the Marketing with the Twang podcast. I'm your host, Ben Blackman. And on this episode, we're going to talk about which ad platform is the best one to use if you're a coach. Here comes episode number 4.
All right. It's time for Marketing with a Twang, your down home, no BS online marketing show. So pull up a chair and ease on in with your host, Ben Blackman.
Hey, welcome to episode number 4, everybody. I'm excited to have you here. You know, I've really been thinking about actually bringing back the Facebook ads with the Twang podcast as well. If any of you all have listened to that before in the past, I did a lot of episodes and I had a lot of really good feedback there. But if any of you all are interested in that, let me know. I would appreciate it. I may just do it anyway. So if you're not familiar with Facebook ads with the Twang, it's really just, I'm trying to teach you how to do Facebook ads 10 minutes at a time. Okay. Instead of trying to do the whole thing at once, I'm trying to figure it all out that way. Just give you the down and dirty, simple things that work on Facebook ads. So I might do that. All right. On this episode, though, we're talking about which ad platform you should use in general. And by the way, my son, Evan, and for those of you all who know or don't know, he's autistic, and I love him to death. He's a good boy, and I'm really grateful because a lot of the things that a lot of autistic kids go through, he doesn't go through. But then again, he has things that are very hard for him. Like he really can't communicate very well. So, for example, like he's sick right now. He never gets sick, and he happens to be sick. And he can't tell me what's wrong. So that's a bit frustrating, right? For him, more so than me. Like, I just want to help him. And, he can't really express what's going on, at least not in a typical way. But what I was getting at was, he may come running through here. Of course, y'all aren't going to see that. Be glad. But he may come running through here with no clothes on because he does that sometimes, which was funny, really funny when he was 7. But now that he's 18, it's just not as funny as it used to. But if you hear me, start laughing or something like that's probably what it is. All right. So let's talk about which ad platform. Well, the answer is simple. It doesn't stinking matter. Just pick one. But since I know that we're all going to overthink it, me included, let's just talk about them individually. So which ad platforms can you really make a go of it when it comes to trying to get clients as a coach? I think we all know that Facebook and Instagram, and by the way, Instagram really traditionally has not been a good place to try to get clients from an ad standpoint. Organically, yes, but not ads. But now it is a good place to get clients, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But then does TikTok work? Sort of. YouTube. Then there's Google Ads, right? Pinterest and X or Twitter, whatever. So we're going to leave out Google Ads, Pinterest, and Twitter just because those are much harder platforms to get dialed in, and the learning curve is so steep that most don't want to get started there. I really do think that Google Ads and possibly Twitter, depending on your audience, okay, are ones that you should consider at some point. But in the beginning, probably not. So that leaves us with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So let's just kind of talk about what you might want to consider before you pick one. So first of all, which ad platform are you currently on? Where do you post, right? Where do you put your stuff? That's probably going to be the one that you're going to want to run ads on, but maybe not. So you want to take that into consideration. And you also want to take into consideration which platform your ideal client is on. Now, the truth is your ideal client is on every platform. Don't let it fool you. Okay. I don't care if it's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. They're on TikTok. Okay. It's just thinking that they're not, that you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, whether you can get in front of enough of them, of the right client on that platform, that's a different question, but they are there. So it's best to try to figure out which platform your ideal client is likely on for the most part that you can get in front of. The next thing would be, which platform do you know how to use for ads? Like, have you been running ads already? Do you already know how to use Facebook? Do you already know how to use TikTok ads? If you do, that's probably a good place to start, really. Now, if you've never run ads, or is it ran? I always get that confused. I grew up in rural Kentucky, so I always get the grammar stuff, is a mystery to me. But if you haven't ever ran any ads, then you probably want to pick the one that's easiest to get started with. And I'm going to kind of go through each platform so you can kind of get an idea of which way to go. Another thing I would think about is what kind of effort are you going to put into it? If you're just going to be playing around, and then you just need to do Facebook and be done with it. Okay. But if you're going to really make a go of it, then it still might be Facebook, but then you have all your options are open. And what is your intent with your ads? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to just educate people? Are you trying to, get people to book calls with you? Are you trying to get people to go to a webinar? I mean, what's your goal there? And it could be all of the above, but you want to take that into consideration. So let me just kind of break down the platforms and we'll just kind of talk about them real quick. So the best overall, all around platform to get started is Facebook. And the reason is because you have a good audience selection. Even though the targeting has gotten much more difficult recently, it's still better. Okay, because you can get started easier, much easier. The ease of use, the way the system's set up is much easier. There's so much support, so many training things out there. You can find anything about Facebook ads out there, so it makes it a lot easier to get that. Tracking is pretty good. It's not perfect. It depends on how you use it, but it's still very good for now. And the learning curve is a lot shorter just because there's all that training out there. So that, like if you didn't know anything else, that's where you would probably start. Now, Instagram mimics Facebook because it's the same thing, right? Same ad platform and everything. You're just selecting Instagram versus Facebook. So the difference is that with Instagram, the learning curve's a little different because you have to test a lot more. And it's a lot easier to not get in front of the right people. And that's one of the challenges with Instagram. And also you're creative. The creative on Instagram has to be different. It's almost, I don't want to say it's impossible. It's a challenge to take the creative that you would have made for Facebook and put it on Instagram and have it work the same way. Usually doesn't happen. Okay, Instagram lends itself now to reels and stories from an ad standpoint. And so if you're good with stuff like that, then yeah, Instagram might be a great way for you to go. Now, what about TikTok? Well, TikTok's great from a standpoint of it's easier for trends, okay, and it's a lot more creator friendly. So you can do a lot more things with it. You can say a lot more things in your ads, and from a creator standpoint, it helps you get in front of more new people than Facebook or Instagram will. However, the targeting is not that good yet, and part of it is just because the number of people on it just aren't. It just isn't as many that are available. But it really does allow you to the algorithm allows you to get in front of a lot more new people is what happens, which is kind of nice. The learning curve on that is probably medium compared to Facebook. There's not nearly as much training out there, and you have to do lots of testing. Your ads fatigue a lot quicker. You have to change them out a lot more often. And so, you just have to bear that in mind. Now, with YouTube, this is probably the hardest from the standpoint of the learning curve. And the other thing is it's hard to test. And if you just kind of consider that, well, when you're making a YouTube video, even though it may not be a highly overproduced video, even if it's just minimally edited, still you've got to do that. That stuff's got to get done. But the nice thing about YouTube is the quality of the people watching is often much better, because the longer people stay on, the more likely they are your ideal clients, and the more that they can get to know you. So, in a text, image, Facebook ad, it might just count as one touch of a person, but a 3-minute video or 5-minute video or 20-minute video of you on YouTube might count as 5 touches. You know what I mean? Because getting them into your world and they're getting to know you a lot faster. Okay. And there is good support out there because, YouTube ads runs off the Google Ads platform. It's just a selection when you're running Google Ads. So there's a lot of support. The Google Ads platform, to me, is not very user friendly, although they've been trying to change that. But nevertheless, there's a lot of support for it. So I will tell you this: if you don't know anything else, like I said before, I would go with Facebook or Instagram. And if you want, if you do decide to go with those, you can get my 3-post boost bundle method. That's a lot. I might change the name of that, but for now, that's what it's called, the 3-post boost bundle method. It's free. I'm just going to give it to you. I don't have it available for an instant download like on a landing page or something at the moment, but soon I'll have it on marketingwithatwang.com. In the meantime, if you want it, just message me on Facebook or Instagram and I'll get it to you, or I'll get Celeste to send it to you. But it's an effective way to use boosting posts to attract your ideal client. People are often down on boosting posts, and I have been myself in the past. But if you do it right, it works. Okay, it's just most people don't do it right, and that's the problem. So I'll teach you how to do that in that method. It's not hard. It's really not. All right. In the meantime, just whatever it is that you're going to do, decide and start learning. That's what's got to happen. You've got to learn how to do this. And the sooner you get started, the better off you are. But you have to do it with intention. Don't play around with it. Don't say, I'm going to try it for a couple of days and see what happens. No, commit to doing this for the next 6 months, that you're going to learn how to post ads and to do ads often. You don't have to spend a lot per day. Maybe you only spend $3 a day, $1 a day, $5, whatever it is, but start running ads. All right, that's it. And I will see you on episode number 5. Take care. Are you late getting into the entrepreneur game? I got you covered. Grab my free newsletter at marketingwithatwang.com, and each week you'll get bite-sized, no BS marketing strategies just for you. Get it at marketingwithatwang.com. I'll see you next time.